All right, guys, that was so much fun, actually.
Right?
Like, you know how we had dreamt. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not even going to like pretend. Like, I've dreamt about this. I've thought about how it's gonna be. I've thought about how we're gonna speak, and that was just like nothing I could imagine. If you know what I mean. That was so amazing.
Can I just say,
Yeah.
you said you were going to bring sultry and sexy voice.
Oh shit! I have to turn it down. Okay, let's try that again.
Okay, so ladies.
So,
So wait, let's not. Let's be ourselves.
yeah. Okay, so we have our next guest. We have the lovely Alicia. The thing is, you can't miss her. She
literally
is.
cannot.
She's beautiful. She's tall. Her hair is glorious.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's like you look amazing. And then we have lovely Magda. Honestly, me and Magda go how way back now? It's a long time, right? We've known each other a long time, and I've always been a fan of your work and everything you do. Fun fact, I don't remember the year, but I think 2019, you hosted a Come Learn to Cook for Valentine's.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember this?
Yes.
And back then, I was single. My husband is here, so I have to say this very carefully. Back then, I was single, and it was like Valentine's Day is coming. I could sit in my room and just be like, F Valentine's. Or I could just do this thing I saw that is also it was tied to Black History Month, I think.
Yes.
And I came for the thing, and I thought, oh, maybe there'll be cute guys there. So
Where is Fola?
The thing is, I mean, no shade to you, but there were no cute guys there.
Are you just saying this because
No,
Fola's
but
begging?
but that's not where the story ends. The thing is, I actually made like a really cool friend, and I think that was the point for you, like to just bring us together, and that was so amazing. I made a friend that we're still friends today. She actually wanted to come, but she's visiting her family in Mannheim, and me and Mandy. The thing we got there, I was like, "Hi, I just came here. I saw this thing," and she was like, "She too," and we were like, "Okay," and then we kind of saw that we were here for the same reason.
To look for men. I'm just gonna say it.
And then and we were just, I was like, "Girl, do you know how to bake?" She was like, "I don't, but let's just roll with it." And we've been friends ever since. And that's just
lovely.
to show you like how amazing the work that you do is, right? And it's like it's definitely, it can be overstated. And honestly, I really, really appreciate everything that you've done, especially in the Black community in Hamburg.
Yeah, thank you very much. But you are mentioning something that's very difficult, and that's the part of like I still want to do that, like having this for the Black community and this kind of like singles dating cooking version, but it's super hard to get
because everybody's like too cool these days as well,
like the men and women, and it is super hard to find them all in one place in one city. So I kind of planned this for Berlin because Berlin is a little bit more flexible, I would say. So I saw the problem there.
Anyway, shout out to you guys in Berlin. If this happens next year, please show up and show out. If you don't meet a guy, you might make a friend for life.
Yeah, for sure. Cooking connects. Cooking is everything. Yeah.
So I'm gonna let you guys introduce yourself. I'll start with Alicia. First of all, I saw what you do very recently, a few weeks ago at the Black Girls Tech Summit in Berlin. And I don't know if you sponsored the event, but I just noticed like this thing I had never seen before. I was like, what is dwafe? and I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right. But I was like, everywhere I turned, there was dwafe hair. I was like, what is this? And then I like look closer. I was like, okay, someone's making hair products that is like, obviously cares about sustainability, cares about the effects on us. I mean, we all know now you're on TikTok, you're on Instagram, and everything you see is, oh, braiding hair causes cancer now. Oh, relaxers are this and that. And it's like, obviously, it's so shit on one hand because we're like, come on, can't Black people catch a break first of all? We just want to braid our hair. We just want to like manage our natural hair, and then everything, it now causes cancer. Oh, it's not bad for your kidneys. So it's like so amazing to see like this kind of new rise of people thinking about, okay, what are we actually putting on our skin, on our bodies, and making sure, obviously you want your hair to be amazing. You can see her hair is amazing.
I would trust her with my hair.
But at least, we know that it's safer. So I kind of want to, obviously you introduce yourself and tell us like, why did you choose this path? And also, you're really young. I'm not going to say your age, but you're really young. So it's also really impressive to see like what got you into, thinking about hair care in this way.
Yes. Okay, a lot of questions. I have to gather myself first.
Yeah.
So I'm Alicia Kusia, and I founded Duafe Haircare actually like 2 years ago.
Okay.
So I've been working on developing this brand, and I just released my first product this summer.
Oh, nice.
So it's pretty young. It's still in its baby shoes. And I decided for that path because like I'm like a person that loves entrepreneurship. Like I love to be my own boss.
Yeah.
And I
Lovely.
think I have a small problem with authority. Like I do well. in
Girl, you
jobs,
and I
do
both.
well. I don't cause trouble or anything, but I do better on myself.
Okay.
So I've always wanted to do something on myself. And then I figured the struggle of going to the Afro shop and getting hair products that are like natural and safe and don't have like this long list of ingredients in the back that you cannot even figure out what it is. And then I looked into natural hair care products, hormone safe hair care products, because just what you mentioned, there are so many products out there marketed to Black women especially that have a lot of endocrine disrupting chemicals.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say that I hate it or anything. I still think like everyone should choose what they want to do. If they want to relax their hair, they can do it. But I feel like it's so important to even know that there is a risk. And I wanted to create something that is safe and still cute, because I feel like a lot of eco products, they're all looking the same, you know. So I wanted to have something that's like luxurious, it looks nice, it has nice ingredients, it's easy to handle and to put on. So that's why I chose this path.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Nice.
It's because I think, and I hear you when you say, first of all, I want to do my own thing. Second of all, I think the one thing I always say, because as someone that also likes to create, like likes to see, how did Nonny put it, like build the world that I want to live in. It's always nice to say, if nobody else is going to do it, like
Let me.
you know, let me, because somebody has to do it. That's the thing. Like if we want to see that difference, someone has to do it, and I find that so amazing. And I think for you, Magda, is also along those lines with Magda's food program. And again, like I've mentioned one of the things that you do, which is just one of, like I'm literally just scratching the surface. But I think the same thing for you. How did you get into, you know, the way, like really caring about what I'm putting into my body, the way you eat, you know, these vegan foods, foods that are obviously healthier for us, and like what made you step into that space? It's also not a space that you typically see a lot of Black people, I would say, but then also even taking the time to like focus on resources that you find in predominant Black communities, so from the Caribbean or from Africa, and really wanting to expose that to the world. So what about food specifically, or what about living in Germany made you want to go down this path as well?
It's an interesting question. It's a long answer to that, but I'll try to make it very short. Well, first of all, my mom, I mean, we all grew up with a mother like who likes to nourish, you know, and who likes to cook a lot of different healthy food. And we grew up here, but we had in our house so many nice African and Caribbean different dishes. So I learned so much from my mom. And then, you know, I started working for different companies in Germany, and I realized that's not what I want to do, because first it's unhealthy, because I learned a lot of health and holistic things from my mom. Like that's what she is for me. And then I started to, you know, work with other people, and I realized that's not how I am. That's not how I think. I always worked in the food industry, I have to say to that. And it was not always healthy. So it was like also kind of convenience food, production of convenience food. And I was in the office and I learned a lot about that. But it was good to learn that, but I realized that's not me and I don't like it. I don't eat it at all. So, and then I saw a lot of people who were really, they were complaining a lot. They were super unhappy, but they also ate a lot of crap. Really, really disgusting things. And so then I asked myself, why don't I like that? So what's the difference between us? And and then I would say a lot of things happened in my life by a very beautiful coincidence. So I met a person, and she was a nutrition scientist, and we were talking about nutrition a lot. And she was like, "Well, you are the person. You need to study that." And I was like, I always want to study, but you know, let me see, maybe later. So a couple of years later, I started studying this, and then I got into this, but of course I'm a black proud woman from Africa, so of course I research a lot on our food, like what is healthy, what is the part which is not so healthy, and then once I graduated, I started working with the people, and I had a lot of people asking me, what do you guys eat in Africa? And it felt uncomfortable for me because people were like, what do you guys eat in Africa? In Africa, you eat only fish and meat, and it's unhealthy. And you guys in Africa, it was always the way people were talking to me. And I felt so, I was like, okay, this is enough. Like, now I'm very edgy. Like, I can talk now. Yeah. I learned how to talk and so how to communicate this very well. So I started with certain classes to actually educate the people, to help them, like the majority in Germany, because to help them to understand what do we eat in Africa, what is healthy. Everything is healthy. So how can you understand our food and all that? And that's what I started with Africa, and then I started with the Afro-Caribbean because I do love Afro-Caribbean food. And so it's actually my passion. I like good food. I like to cook. I like to eat, and I like to nourish everyone. So this is like actually I show what I love to do. So that's the part where I and a lot of people appreciate that. Like when you start like showing them, also our people in our community, are very grateful to talk about our food. It's a kind of empowerment, and I really love like bringing this to our community. And then I also started during the Corona. We had the Corona time, which was extreme in my business. I had to stop working, and I started with sea moss, to import sea moss from Jamaica. And that is also a part which also empowers. It was actually made for the Black people, because a lot of Black people know it all over the world. It is not. It's not other people. And then I started educating also other people to understand what it is, what it does as a supplement and all that. But in the beginning, my customers were Black people, mainly Black people.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, and I love that. I love that part very much, and I loved it that everyone came to me, and I had good connections with everyone. So we had good options to connect. It was very nice, yeah. And it's still like it's my favorite.
And that's so great. You mentioned something that made me wonder. Do you find that there's still some type of, I don't know if the right word is stigma, or just kind of people looking down on African food, even Africans, right? Like, because they just don't understand. Like, for instance, if somebody says to me, oh, I want to start eating clean, many times it means I'm going to cut out a lot of like my traditional African food and start eating like salads because that's what they think is healthy. Do you find that in today, like 2025, is still kind of the case where we're kind of looked down on our own foods, and other people also looking down on it?
Yes, people look down on our foods. It's like it's kind of they try to westernize the food, and then they try to say that the Western food is more, and this is more the convenience food we are talking about, is way better. And I don't understand why this is done actually.
It's ridiculous coming from people that made burgers.
But when we talk about how did you call it? Like the
stigma, or like
when people go back to when I want to eat more clean, for example. Actually, then it's more our food. It's more the African food which is clean. If you go back to that, because I've been also in Ethiopia, and I did I'm from Eritrea, right? But I did a project in Ethiopia, and I was working with people there, and when you go in the supermarket there, or when you on the market, when you go there and you start like cooking with people, we have more organic and clean food there. The supermarket literally had no fast food, no nothing. And I was in the beginning, I was like, wow, like this is different. But then I was like, but this is nice actually, because the people, they don't have an option to be unhealthy. Like, there's no way, And that's why I would say the perception of like in Africa everything is primitive, and the food is always, that's why I didn't like it, like everything is fried and all that, which isn't true. It is completely the wrong perception of Africa, and I think people have to know. I actually had someone yesterday, like I was really like, talking on social media about it a couple of hours ago, because someone just like, we made a post of something where we were saying it is very healthy to eat with your hands. It is not only like the experience to also have the temperature, what temperature it is. It's also good for the overall experience and for the nerves, like,
amazing,
to eat with your hands. And there was a guy like, of course, there are people who don't confirm that.
Yeah.
And there was a guy who said, it's super primitive. I'm not eating, like certain things with my hands. Like he was mentioning German food. And I was like, well, if we start with that, we have to talk about colonizers and so as well. But I'm not going to open this. So, but, that's what I'm saying. Like, there are still people who are working against it. I still have a lot of people when they are like in my class, even though they are like, they roll with their eyes. Are like, what? In Africa? Well, I know in Africa, first of all, Africa is not a country.
Yeah.
So we have the problem here. We have no national dish for Africa. It's impossible. But also it's like in Africa, it's only meat and all that. We have a lot of stigmas, and where I always also tell them, no, like, look, for example, in Eritrea, Ethiopia, we have a lot of, we have a huge fasting season where we eat only vegan. And when you go to Eritrea or Ethiopia, you can't eat meat because it's impossible. So that's a religious thing. And they are like, well, no. So we have this still. We are working on it. And I think this is the good part, what you said, and that's how I like to work too, is if you want to see a difference, you have to make sure that you make this difference possible, to not complain all the time. So this is just the one time that I'm just like showing you guys what I'm experiencing, but I don't like to talk about this because they are not important. Important is that what we make out of it. We have our children. We have to create a good life for our children, you know. And in the end of the day, they will live what we are showing them, right? So
Yeah, that's amazing. I actually have a simple response when people talk about the eating with your hands. Like, the most eaten German food, I think, is bread.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you like take
bread
a knife
with our
and fork?
hands? Yeah. That's why I'm always like, also, how do you eat your bread? But anyways,
That's a good one,
this
actually.
is a good one.
Yeah.
That's a very good one.
Like, that's
actually.
what I
I'm gonna
was just
start using
saying.
it.
Yeah, but I'll come back to you, Alicia, and for both of you, but I'll start with you. When people think about entrepreneurship in Germany, and it's a very interesting concept to me. It's kind of nice to say, I want to do this. I have a lot of passion, but we also know that passion does not feed mouths, right? So when it comes to like the numbers of things, like the economics of it, does it make sense? So if someone came up to you now and said, I really hate authority, I want to quit my job and, start my business, what would you say are like the necessary things people need to think about to make sure that they have that safety net financially, right? Because they have to pay their bills, pay insurance and stuff like that at the very least. And then before we even talk about actually creating wealth and becoming really, really wealthy, is there really a path like that in Germany? And what do people kind of need to, be aware of as well going into business?
So I don't think that I have the experience.
Okay.
But you're
you're at the beginning, so it's good. Yeah.
I'm at the beginning, exactly. So I also have to say that I still work jobs on the side.
Guys, like this part is key.
Yeah.
Like I think people, when they hear entrepreneurship, they think,
but I want to
Mark
quit my job.
Zuckerberg.
Like,
I dropped out of school and I'm gonna create Facebook, and it's not like that. But
it's for a rare amount of people that works. Like, they have a job and then they post a TikTok and it goes viral and they have like thousands and thousands of sales, and then they can quit their job and sail to I don't know where. But I think the reality, at least for the bubble where I'm moving in, and also for myself, I need safety. So I work a job at the site that pays my bills, but I try to combine the benefits. So not only working a job that pays my bills, but also a job that benefits me in the way I want to develop my business. So I choose my job basically wisely. So now, for example, I also work in a management position, so it shows me how important it is to organize my tasks and everything. I learned from that how important it is to look at the numbers, because I also started with a lot of passion, right? It was just a project of passion. So for me, it was like, it was so fascinating to see what I have to consider to have a price in the end.
Absolutely,
for a product. Like, for me, I thought it's just the ingredients and that's it.
It's not,
girl,
right?
it's packaging, it's branding,
It's so much more.
Social media.
It's social media, it's marketing.
And it just got more and more expensive. And I thought to myself, like, oof, how can I justify that price? But the passion is the argument.
Would you do it again though?
I would
if you
do
were
it
to
again.
start over.
Yes.
Lovely.
Yes.
That's what shows that you really love what you do.
Yeah.
I do, yeah.
At some point I'm always afraid, like of course I do want to be an entrepreneur myself at some point, but my biggest fear with that is getting burnout down the way and just being like, screw this, man. I it's like the passion dies at some point. But when you say like right now where the because at the beginning that's when like you will see all the struggles, like the major ones. And if you say in this stage, if you say I would do this again and I'm going to continue with this, super proud of you, girl, because that's exactly where you need to be. And I personally cannot wait to try some duafe, like because we talk about hair a lot on this podcast.
We do.
I want to say to that as well, like I have been at the point of a burnout, but it wasn't because I don't have passion for my project. It was because the priorities in my life weren't matching with what I actually want to do. So I feel like if you have the passion for whatever you want to create, you have to also put good priorities within your life to actually make it possible and create enough space and time so that you can actually do what's within your purpose. Because otherwise, for me, I was only going into burnout because the most capacity for me was taking the job I was doing at that time. And that was not my passion. So that's why I was running into burnout, because I could see, okay, what I actually want to do, I don't have enough time for it. And the most time is consumed by my job. So that's why I switched jobs to create more time again.
Okay, that's amazing. I'll let you add a little bit to that as well, because you have more experience, and then we'll wrap up this session as well.
Yeah, so I think you said something very important, and it's about the passion. You said you would like to do certain things, but you're worried that you will lose the passion on the way. I can just tell you, if it's your purpose and you can attach it to that, you will never lose that. Because
I love that.
I started as a nutrition scientist. When I was studying, I started reading a lot of science about I do kids education too, nutrition education with kids and schools. And I was inside of me, I was like, this can't be true. Like when I saw the numbers, when I saw what happens with the kids in Germany, specifically in Germany, when you imagine we have everything here, we have access to everything, and parents have also the option to help their children and to really raise them properly when it comes to nutrition. Of course, there are money situations and all other things, but put that aside, honestly, a lot of kids get they develop unhealthy eating behaviors, and then later attached to that they're once they get a little bit older, they get sick based on poor diet. So when I read that, I was like, no, there's no way that I'm going to let this information go. So once I started working for companies, I realized this is not important what I'm doing. I'm making money, but it's not important. What am I doing? What am I contributing for my knowledge? Nothing. So, I started with this. That was the first thing what I did. I started working with schools and kindergartens, and I started developing a program for them with recipes and games and all that. And we are still doing that. And this is something where I'm sometimes, because I'm a mother now, and it's like, oh my God, it's just I'm exhausted because of all the projects I'm doing, everything what I'm doing. But then I found an idea. I was like, okay, let me just try to work with people together. I don't have to do it by myself. Why? I was the one who created that. It was important for me, and it's still my passion, and it has to be my purpose. I'm going to explain this to my daughter. She will do this in the future. But I have to accept that my energy is also to a certain extent. So when I can't, I have to find a good way. But that doesn't mean that you can't do it. So if I'm just saying, I'm talking to you because when I see you talking about it, I know how it is. I know how it is, because I used to work for companies too, and I was like, I want to do this, that, this. And, there's not the end. It's just you have to find a way to create it for you, to make it possible, and to live the life the way you want to live it. In the beginning, it's always a hustle, we cannot lie about it. In the beginning, you have to create everything. You have to put in the hours, in the night, or wherever it's possible. You start the project, you start the company, and then, if you have a good plan, you can maybe quick, change it in a way. And I can always recommend someone who's on the beginning, take someone like a mentor or so. I have a mentor myself now, and I think this is super important, because someone who already walked the path can give you so much, can take so much headache from you and help you with a lot of things. So that's that's to give you this.
That's why we love that you guys are here, because
Exactly.
who knows,
Such
at some
great
point you
points
will
as
be the
well.
mentors.
Yes. The thing is with me, I don't know how. I'm not that far right now, but maybe in the future. But I can just tell, like, that's how I learn. I try to learn it from people who are quite far, and then they are happy. They give me some hours.
Yeah,
amazing.
And that's amazing.
Super
And
amazing.
unfortunately, we've come to the end of this segment as well. But this was amazing, and like I said, it'll be great to do like full episodes with you, because I definitely want to hear more about like everything you're building and what your vision is and where you're taking it to, and also to see how things are going with Wafi. I will definitely do that, so you have more time and you can share more and connect with us. But this was amazing, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
very
much
much.
for
Yeah.
doing
We're gonna do the
Thank
quick
you.
toast with you guys, and then we'll
Get into the next one. Cheers, guys.
cheers, guys. Thank you so much.
Cheers, Mariam, as always.
Cheers.
And cheers to you guys, obviously. I don't know if you guys have drinks, but please get drinks,
Thank
get
you, guys.
water, get something.
Yeah, and then we have like a